most difficult part of the job was the legacy of my predecessor, David Verrill. He's a brilliant, brilliant producer, won several Oscars. He was very, very kind and gracious to me because he helped steer me into it. His father, in fact, had been there before him and had been a producer at the Film Board. He produced this guy called Norman McLaren, Neighbors, if it rings a bell. His brother is in Neighbors, even, David's brother, so he was fantastic. So actually, not trying to be David was the most difficult thing, and just trying to be myself, and I'm feeling great now. I mean, I've got these two rock star producers working. I'm working with Marcy Page and Michael Fukushima, so that's pretty cool. Oh, working with Michael Fukushima and Marcy Page. Honestly, as I said off camera, joining this circus, the NFB, to me, I'm not lying, I think it's just the greatest gig in animation in Canada, maybe the world. All due respect to John Lasseter, I think I got a better job than he does. The most gratifying thing is you get to help filmmakers, auteur filmmakers, like realize their dreams, and we're one of the only games in town, games in the world that can do that. But that said, there's a lot of challenges that we face too, and I'm up for that, and I'm looking for new ways in which we can produce more films with more people. I think if that's the thing that I'm trying to carve out, in a nutshell, that would be it. Accessibility. How can we get more people excited about animations? Which is even why I'm going off across the country, why I've gone to Halifax this week, why I'm in Toronto here at OCAD. I love pressure. I think it's healthy, I think it's important. Specifically, if I could think of what they are, it's just making sure that we're fully engaged, that we're finding really wonderful films to work on. And they're within the organization itself, the NFB, obviously it's the government and there are constraints around that. But I've been in companies that have done IPOs. I've worked in small startups. I've worked in large companies. And I'm fond of telling people in the National Film Board of Canada, every single organization has its demons. It has both its upsides and its downsides. So we just have to get past those. But yeah, there are pressures around those. For sure. I mean, we had like, there's over 80 people working on a floor on that, double shifting and doing CG realistic. And as I said earlier, obviously, if you can run a great big production like that, in theory, you should be able to do, there's 3 people working on a small film. I think not just that film, but being in smaller studios, understanding workflow, schedules, how do we bring some production efficiencies in, at the same time maintaining creativity, that's something that I'm quite proud of. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. If we're going to be successful and continue to move forward, we cannot, even the NFB animation studio cannot be complacent. We need to find new voices, new filmmakers. And that's been the tradition of the Film Board. Ryan Larkin, Vigat, Chris Landreth, and Carolyn Leaf, and you go back, but each of them was bringing a new artistic innovation forward at the same time. Some of the private sector background I have is to sort of set the table for that. If I can bring in more efficiencies, if I can find ways of doing things, processes within the productions a whole lot quicker and smarter, I can actually do more films. It's as simple as that. Or I can give filmmakers more time with producers so that they can spend that extra 2 months to get something or to take a different turn and create a new cocktail that no one's seen before. That's what gets me up in the morning, coming to work. This last spring was the 8th iteration of it, and it's a paid apprentice program whereby 6 filmmakers come to Montreal for 3 months, and they get to work with the best of the best. Great composers, great sound people, but great producers. Michael Fukushima, always an animation mentor, and they will produce a 1-minute film in 3 months from scratch, meaning from storyboard, animatic, straight through. So it's intense. As I said, it's been 8 years that it's been going, and we'll probably be carrying it on again into Hot House 9. Easy to find out about it. just go onto the NFB website or Google Hot House NFB and you'll find it. Probably going to be doing the calls for the next Hot House in January. But if you go online right now, you can register and you'll get an email when we're calling for submissions. Go back to Hot House. I mean, there's a couple of animators I'd like to bring up. A filmmaker, her name is Philippe Blanchard. She's doing a film, completing her film called The End of Pinky, which is based on a short story by Governor General Award-winning author Heather O'Neill, who's a really bright young writer. And the story all takes place in Montreal, and it's kind of funky and fun, and it's stereoscopic, and it's going to be a great, great film. And another Hot House alum is Malcolm Sutherland. I saw his films at the last Ottawa Animation Festival, and I just went, we got to be working with this guy. And Marcy says, yeah, let's get on that one. So I think Malcolm is definitely, we got to do something with him. It's part of one of the panels tonight is about. I mean, I came from that world, and as I said earlier, I mean, now I'm in this wonderful, having a wonderful opportunity to work in the auteur animation space. I fully believe that other countries, they're fighting above their weight. And the reason is they're being able to take auteur filmmakers and use that look and that feel, and they're applying it in a commercial space, in a feature film and in television series. And I know there's a will there among the smaller independent studios across this country that want to take advantage of these great filmmakers that we're creating through programs like Hot House. So if we can help and encourage that, I think that would be wonderful. And as a country and as an industry in this country, we need to do that so that we can compete internationally and maintain our advantage from countries like Ireland and Spain and France, and you mentioned Japan and absolutely Korea. So I think it's not only something that's a desire, I think it's a need.